and telling all these tissues. Post-absorptive state, okay, between meal and overnight, catabolic will be important. Now all of a sudden your glucose is dropping, you're not absorbing anymore. Now glucagon is active. Glucagon again, okay, it will be released by the pancreas, okay. Then the liver, glucagon will cause the liver to stop storing energy, and it will break down the glycogen. Remember, glycogen is stored in the liver to release glucose. And then you have glycogenolysis, break down the glycogen into glucose, and then so on and so forth. And then you'll be using that, and then going into the electron transport chain, and then it will be released as ATP. Okay, liver will start gluconeogenesis using amino acid and glycerol to make glucose. Muscles will use glycogen and fatty acid. Adipose will release fatty acid to make ketones. Okay, same chart. Energy and heat balance. One of the reasons we need to eat is thermal regulation. Okay. We only capture 40% of the energy to make ATP. The rest becomes heat, and this maintains our core temperature. Temperature is a homeostasis constant, and the hypothalamus regulates it. Okay. 3 different types of heat exchange. We have conduction, convection, radiation, and evaporation. So we know what evaporation is. When you boil water, transfer changes state of water. Okay, 20% of heat is lost this way. We also know, some of us know what convection is. Convection is in your oven, transfer to the air, okay, or water. As heated, the air moves away. Okay, so the heat is transferred into the air. Okay. Conduction is when you the heat from the fire heats up the pot. The pot is, if you touch the pot, it is hot because it conducted. Okay, direct contact between the objects, so it's directly contacting the fire and the pot. And radiation is like if you go outside in the sun, okay, you will feel the radiation of the infrared wave from the sun. Okay, so thermal regulation through conduction, 3% of the heat is lost. Convection, 15% is lost this way. Radiation, 60% of the heat is lost this way. That's why when we stand next to somebody too close, we can feel their heat. Okay, that's a kind of a radiation heating. Okay. And evaporating, when we breathe, when we talk, okay, we lose water this way. Metabolic rate, okay, this is the basal metabolic rate. It is the cost of living. What does that mean? Okay, energy for normal basic daily activity in the post-absorptive state. So this is, so post-absorptive, you're done eating, there's no more things to absorb. What do you need to keep your body from going into a coma or something? Just keeping it alive is your basal metabolic rate. Okay? It is the amount of energy expended at rest. Okay? In a neutral temperate environment. So if it's too hot, of course, your body will need energy to evaporate things. If it's too cold, your body will you might need energy to shiver and things like that. So this is at a regular neutral temperature. At rest, what is the cost of living? Okay, it's 70% of your caloric needs. Of course, this is affected by age, gender. Okay, average human needs between 1,500 to 2,500 calories. 20% that comes from additional physical activity. If you are a physical worker or laborer, you're going to need to eat more to maintain And then 10% of this is used for thermal regulation. Nutrition and diet: carbohydrate, lipid, and protein are used to supply energy for us. Excessive energy is stored as fat. Diet is what you eat and how much. You need adequate energy and must consume essential nutrient for anabolic process. You cannot just eat bread and thinking that that is will give you energy. Okay, you need essential nutrients. All the vitamins and minerals comes from beef, vegetables, and things like that. Okay. Energy is also measured in calories. What is calorie? Average human calorie needs are affected by the body mass. Okay, so all this is affected. A calorie is the amount of heat needed to raise 1 kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius. So if you have a water in a pot that's 70 degrees, you want to raise it up to 71 degrees Celsius. The amount of heat that's needed, it's measuring calorie. Okay. Of course, again, this is not the best way to measure. Okay, I can eat 1,000 calorie of carbohydrate compared to 1,000 calorie of a mixture. Okay, of course, we know which one is healthier. Okay, you need to eat essential, good things. Now there's good fat to eat and good protein. So every time you consume about 3,500 calories, you add 1 pound of fat. Okay, so if you eat in excess of 200 calories per day is eaten, so of course that's a lot. Okay, if you eat just a little bit more, 200 calories per day, 1 pound will be gained every 18 days. That's pretty quick. Okay, which means about 20 pounds a year. So all we have to do is do the reverse, and we'll be able to lose weight slowly, healthy. Again, what should you eat? Here's the guideline. Okay. Okay, you can look through that. This is the new food pyramid. Of course, we eat a lot of microplastic. Seed oil is terrible. Okay, it's synthetic. They want you to eat bugs, oat milk, and all that. You know, it's all bad. Okay, antidepressant on top. Okay, this is not going to be good for you. Let's see, did I go through? Okay. So here's a body mass index. It is used to calculate whether you're average or, normal or whatever. Okay, so here's a healthy weight. Between here is overweight and here's obese. Okay, if you are, it is used to assess weight in considering to your height. Okay, if you're, let's say, 5'6", okay, and then you're in this range, okay, then you'll be overweight, and here's, obese, and here's, your weight. Only 30% of the U.S. population is healthy weight. Okay, highest level of obesity is the South. Child obesity is on the rise again. Too much processed food. Now let's look into vitamins. What are vitamins? Okay, vitamins are organic compounds that are essential for normal metabolic process, especially vitamin B. We remember seeing that in the we eat a lot of when we eat beef. Okay, B6, B12, things like that. Bones and mineral, metabolism, growth, and repair. So it's an organic compound that is essential, and we can only get it through food. Okay, it's part of biomechanical reaction to help the body grow grow and sell and all that. Okay, it cannot be synthesized by the body cells in adequate amount. There are two types of classification: fat soluble and water soluble. Okay, fat solubles are A, D, E, and K. Water solubles are B and C. So this is, of course, might be on the test. Okay, so remember which one is fat soluble, which one is water soluble. Okay. Anything too much is bad. Okay, so here are some of the things that the fat soluble one. Okay, so fat soluble vitamin A, we've seen carrots. Okay, it helps good with the eyes, and you can see better at night. Okay, D again, you can get it from the sun. Well, it's converted into vitamin D. Okay, you can get a lot of egg yolk, which is good for you. Okay, skin can synthesize it. Okay, in the presence of UV, like in the sun. It's good for your bones. All right. E, you get them from seeds, nuts. Okay, avocado and all that stuff. It's good for anemia. Vitamin K, dark green. It's good for blood clotting, hemorrhagic disease. Newborn sometimes nowadays they give you a vitamin K shot. All right. Water soluble, got all these B vitamins. Okay. Some are unstable in heat, may be affected by UV light. Not store, so excess, often excreted or eliminated. Okay, so you can look at all the B vitamins. Okay, and vitamin C. Now, what are minerals then? Minerals are inorganic elements, but versus vitamins are the organic vitamins, which means it is still essentials. Okay, which means it does not contain carbon. Okay, if it's an inorganic element, it doesn't have carbons. It works with your body. Okay, to make sure that it is working properly. Work with other nutrient to make sure your body is working properly. Again, this also cannot be made, and you have to eat it. Okay, usually extracted from soil by plants. So some of the major ones are, we see sodium, potassium, calcium, and all that good stuff comes from, they're all minerals. Okay, know the 6 of them that we saw here earlier. Okay, just the name of them, but know the function of sodium, potassium, and calcium. We'll see some of this in the following. I think it might be the next one. When it comes to the kidneys, this is essential, and we saw calcium already. I think, did we learn muscle contraction yet? Calcium, sodium, potassium pump with the nerve. Okay. Trace minerals are much less of these. You need much less. Here are some of the names. Okay. You can look through them. Okay, we know iron, zinc, copper, iodine, all these very common names that we see. Okay, all these are trace minerals. Okay, that'll be the end of this chapter, and I'll see you on the next one.